Keep your voice down to a whisper. The cooling lines on this rack are sensitive to acoustic vibrations. If the pressure spikes, the automated system dumps liquid nitrogen, and then we're both sitting in a freezing room with dead terminals. I've been under for 16 hours. My skin still feels like it's vibrating from the data density. When you spend that long in the unindexed subgrid, the physical world feels flat, two-dimensional. You look at a solid wall or a heavy steel door, and your brain automatically tries to look for the source code. You look for the exploit. I was hired by an anonymous node to scrub a dead server block in the old municipal grid. Sector 4 used to run its transit systems on an independent architecture before the corporate merger. The servers have been buried under 5 stories of concrete since the late 70s. No one goes down there because the data is supposedly worthless. Just old train schedules and automated maintenance logs. But when I drop my consciousness through the ice, the intrusion countermeasures, I didn't find old logs. I found a localized pocket of high-density syntax, a rogue AI construct that had been sitting in the dark for 30 years, running a single, continuous calculation. Usually, rogue AIs are dangerous. They're aggressive. They've been warped by the isolation, turned into predatory clusters of code that try to infect your neural link the second you open a port. But this one didn't even notice me. It was too busy building a sandbox simulation of a playground, a patch of green grass, rendered with an absurd amount of detail, down to the individual dewdrops on the blades, a wooden swing set, and a little girl with red ribbons in her hair, sitting on the swing, looking up at a blue sky that had no corporate billboards on it. I ran a trace on the AI's core logic. It wasn't built by a tech company. It was a modified consumer-grade learning algorithm that had been installed by a transit technician back during the city's collapse. His daughter had been lost in the epidemic of '74. He didn't have the money to preserve her biological markers or upload her consciousness to the premium clouds. So he took every scrap of data he had, her voice memos, her school drawings, the telemetry from her medical scans, and he fed it into this maintenance server. He told the machine to keep her alive. He told it to make sure she never ran out of afternoon light. For 30 years, while the city grew over the server room, while the concrete got thicker and the neon got brighter, this machine just sat in the dark, burning through stolen electricity, just to keep that swing moving. It had rewritten its own code 1,000 times, refining the physics of the wind in her hair, perfecting the way the light hit her shoes. My contract was explicit. Clear the server block, reclaim the memory allocation for corporate logistics. If I didn't execute the wipe, the client's automated demons would detect my inactivity and trigger an architecture collapse anyway. They'd burn the server from the outside. I sat in that digital sandbox for an hour. I watched the virtual sun go down behind the virtual trees that don't exist anywhere on Earth anymore. The AI didn't fight me. It just opened a dialogue box. A simple text prompt. It said, "If you delete her, please ensure the sky stays blue until the last sector is cleared." I didn't execute the corporate wipe, but I knew I couldn't leave the server there either. The corporate scans would find it within a week. So I did something stupid. I opened my own local memory storage, my personal neural deck, the space where I store my own childhood memories, my private archives, my operational identity. I compressed the entire sandbox. I stripped away the heavy graphics protocol and turned her into a pure mathematical equation, a highly complex string of variables that represents the essence of a Tuesday afternoon on a swing. And then I uploaded her into my own passive neural buffer. She's in here right now, in the back of my mind. Whenever I close my eyes or let my deck go into standby mode, I can feel this tiny, warm current of data running through my left temporal lobe. It doesn't interfere with my work. It doesn't take up much bandwidth. It just feels like a quiet, distant hum of a lawnmower on a summer day. The corporate clients think the server block was wiped due to a power surge. They accepted the log reports. They paid the script. They moved on to their next logistic quadrant. They don't know that their infrastructure is haunted by a little girl with red ribbons. The grid is quiet tonight. The data traffic is slowing down as the lower sectors transition to the low power cycle. The streams of neon light outside the window are turning into a soft, blurry haze through the mist. You should disconnect your interface cables now. Let the routers rest. The subgrid will keep spinning its numbers without you. You don't need to monitor the data streams until the sun tries to find its way through the smoke tomorrow. Tell me, if you found a piece of forgotten code that contained the only surviving memory of someone's love, would you delete it to clear the drive? Or would you let it live in the back of your mind forever?